Hello and welcome to LearnToWordPress.com, the website that helps you learn everything about WordPress and more. This tutorial is going to be on how to blog with WordPress. We're going to show you everything from beginning to end, all the tools, everything, getting media, galleries, everything on how to create a successful blog post. So get comfy and here we go. This tutorial is on how to manage the blog portion of your website. When you log into the back end of your website here, you'll see on the left-hand side a posts section. This right here is where you're going to manage all the blog entries for your website. When you expand this here, you'll see there's all posts, add new, categories, and post tags. So I'm going to walk you through from beginning to end how you create blog post entries, modify them, update them, and use all the tools to give you everything you need to be able to complete a blog post in its entirety. So the first thing we need to do is we need to create a blog post. We can do that in a couple different ways. You see there's an add new button over here on the left and the add new button right here if you're in the post section. So let's just go ahead and click add new. Upon clicking add new, you'll be asked to do a couple things. First off, we want to enter in a blog title. So we're going to say we're gonna do a little blog demo here about orange pills, okay? So orange slices. So we're gonna say orange slices are great. Sure, something simple like that. Then down below here, you're gonna find this is where we actually type the blog post. So just simply type whatever you'd like to type here. I'm just gonna paste some content here, but you go ahead and just type away at it. Once you've got your content typed here, then all you need to do is start using some of the tools that are up top here to let you kind of take advantage of styling the text any which way you'd like. For example, if we want to bold something, just highlight it and click the bold button. If we want to italicize something, just highlight it and hit italicize. And same thing goes with strike through, just highlight it and strike through there. So we got some easy tools. We got some tools up here to be able to do some ordered and unordered lists. So for example, if I want to put one here, I just put my cursor where I'd like it to go and I click this unordered button and I go ahead and I type my ordered list. I guess unordered list would be it. And then a second line here and another here. All right, and then it's very easy to be able to change this. If you want to highlight this, you can turn this into a numbered post instead, ordered or unordered, so it's very simple to do that. We can very easily, the next button here, add a quote to our post here. So let's say that we want to add a post saying, you know, this is incredible. How powerful this is. Okay, so then you just highlight your text and then click the quote button up above, and it'll turn that kind of into a quote. You can even put in quotes if you want to, depending on the style of your site. It may already include those, but we'll go ahead and add those. Then when you hit return, you'll still be in the quote, so you'll need to click that so it kind of goes back down below. All right, then you can just kind of continue typing and do what you need to do. You'll see up top here that there are some different options to justify the text. So let's say we want to do left align here, and we want to do center align, and perhaps a right align. So all you got to do is highlight the text, hit the button, highlight the text, and hit the button. It's that easy. So it makes it very simple to be able to align things the way you'd like it to. We can also very easily, which is the next button, is to add links. Let's say that you want to say, click, you know, we'll say just view website, okay? So we want to make this a link to go to a website. So up top here, you'll see once you have some text highlighted, this little link button appears, which we can click and simply put in the URL that you want it to go to. So let's say we want to go to apple.com. We'll say, you know, visit Apple's website. And then you have the option to be able to open this link in a new window or a new tab just by clicking the checkbox. Or you have options down here to link to existing content, meaning one of your pages that's on your website. So makes it nice and easy that you can kind of link to those pages as well. But if you want to do an external one, just type it in. Be sure to include the HTTP, and then you can add that in and click add link. And that will make this a link for your website. Okay, so it makes it nice there. The next section here, the next button, this right here is called a more tag. And basically how this works is when you have all your blog listings on one page, you just want to show a little excerpt of your blog post. And then there will be a button that says read more. For example, if we go to apple.com, they have a start page. And when we go to their start page, you see they've got their hot headlines, and they give you a little excerpt or a little tiny post, and then a button that says learn more, and then you can read the full post. And so we have something similar like that we would do. And what you do is you put your cursor where you'd like to go, usually after the first paragraph or so, and then you click the button right here that is the insert more tag. Once you click that, you'll see a little line shows up with more, and this right here becomes the excerpt. And when they click read more, it shows the entire post. All right, so pretty important that we add those in there for most sites. And there's another way that we can do this too, which I'll show you in a moment. The next button here though is the spell checking. There's spell checking kind of built into most computers these days. For example, if we typed Apple and we meant to actually put in Apple like that, but if you want to use the built-in spell checker, then you can just by clicking this button. It'll go through your post and check all the spelling. The next button here is a really neat feature called full screen. It's a full screen mode that if we click that, what it does is it turns your typing into a very distraction-free environment. It makes it really easy to be able to just type your blog post and your content and not be distracted by anything else. You can just worry about just your text and what you're typing and create a really great blog post. So it makes it really helpful and handy. Then when you bring your mouse up top here, you get just your most essential buttons. You can bold, italicize, do your lists and media and links and other things like that. So it makes it really nice. Then when you're want to get out of this, you'll see there's a button on the left-hand side that says exit full screen, and then you'll be back to where you were. All right, so that's the great full screen mode. The last button here is something that we call the kitchen sink, and if you click this, it opens up a second line of tools that you can use. Okay, we'll kind of go through these in detail here. The first one here is the styles. You'll notice that there's no fonts or font sizes that we change in here necessarily. It's because it's already been pre-built with these styles. And you just click and you choose one of these styles. It makes it really nice, and it makes it so your website stays very consistent throughout the site. All of the headings are the same size, and all the paragraph text is the same font and size and everything. So it creates a really good website in the fact that all the text looks very consistent. So in a good example of where you may use this, let's say that right here you want to kind of create this kind of a new paragraph titled section. So you might say, new title here, and then you just highlight that text, click where it says paragraph, and choose heading. Okay, then you can go to another one. Maybe you want to add another one right here that says alignment example, and then we highlight this, and maybe we make this heading 2. Okay, so those are kind of some good examples of how you would use those styles. You've equally got underline up top here. We can also, you see the next one is a full justification. So if we wanted to highlight this text and then click this, you'll see that it's aligned left and right. If you want to make any text stick out, then you can highlight it and simply click and change it from a variety of colors here, and just click, and then we've changed actually the color of the text if you wanted to. So it makes it kind of nice. The next 2 buttons here are paste buttons. Pasting meaning from copying and pasting. You're probably familiar with the ability to copy text and then paste it. And so if you're copying text from anywhere else, you want to paste it into here without all the formatting, meaning you want to paste into here without the font and the colors and everything that comes with it. So you can copy the text from either a website or somewhere else, and then if you paste it, you might notice that those formatting items came with it and you didn't want it to. You want it to kind of match everything else on your site. So that's why we click this button right here that lets us paste as plain text. And we simply paste it in here, and then we click insert, and it will insert that text in here without any formatting of sorts. So it makes it really nice to be able to bring it in just plain text without anything else. The next one is the same thing, but if you paste it from Word. So if you are using Microsoft Word to take text from and put it in here, then you want to use that one to paste the text in. If there's any formatting that you didn't mean to, for example, let's say that we accidentally changed this one here to be a blue color of some sort, and we didn't want to, you can actually highlight this and hit this button right here to remove the formatting. So if there is formatting that's been on there, you can actually remove it by using this button right here. The next one is to insert special characters. So if you needed to insert any copyright or currency, registered trademarks, bullets, fractions, any of the sorts, then you just do so, and all you simply do is just click on it and it'll add that right into there. And if you want to undo, you see there is an undo button right over here that we can undo and redo very easily. And these next two buttons are simply to indent in, probably mostly helpful for when you are using it with lists like this. So let's say they want to do a subcategory here and another subcategory. And then all you want to do is you can just highlight this and then hit this indent button. It'll kind of push those in a little bit. So that's kind of where those are very helpful. The last button here is simply just a help window that kind of comes up and tells you about rich editing basics, some advanced ideas, and then some hotkeys. So you can kind of learn the shortcut keys to do certain things. If you're a Windows user, use Control plus the letter, and if you're a Mac user, use Command plus the letter. So yeah, it makes it pretty easy, but that's pretty much it as far as the tools for editing text. The next one is actually adding media to the website. Using media is very easy inside of your blog posts, and you access them by using these tools up here where it says upload/insert. You'll see a button to add images, video, audio, and other media such as PDFs of sorts. So let's say, for example, we wanted to add a picture right here. So you just simply put your cursor where you want the image to go, click the image upload button. Then you'll get a little window here that has 3 tabs. You can either upload the image from your computer, so this is an image that's on your computer that you want to upload, an image that's somewhere else on the web, so from a different URL, or from the media library, meaning something you've already uploaded to your website and you want to use it again. So we want to upload one from our computer. I'm going to go ahead and hit select files. Then I'm going to browse to find a photo. I've got this one here, which is a bunch of orange slices, and I'm going to click open. Okay, so once you've uploaded that image, you can kind of see all the details about it. But the first things you want to do is give it a title and an alternate text. So I'm just going to call this one orange slices. And you want to do the same thing with the alternate text. The alternate text, you know, they're both good for search engine optimization, but the alternate text especially is helpful for those that are in needs or for the blind and that need some help to kind of browse people's websites. So it's kind of nice to be able to help in those circumstances out too. Then below you see there's a caption and description that you can add if you wanted to. If you want to add a little caption below your photo, you could. But then you see there's a section down here called link URL. And this is where you can make your image a link to wherever you want it to go. So you can type in a URL somewhere here. So if you want to send this to apple.com, you could. Or if you want to link it just to the file itself, to the actual image, or to the post URL, you can too. Or if you don't want it to be a link at all, just an image that's there, just hit none. Okay, makes it very simple. Alignment, you can choose how you want this to be aligned within the post. No alignment, so it's on its own line all by itself, or left aligned, centered, or right. I'm going to go ahead and do left aligned. Then you see size over here. We can do thumbnail, medium, large, or full size. You see full size is 828 wide in pixels, which is probably a little too wide. So I'm going to go ahead and choose medium, and that way the text will be able to wrap around this image. So I'm going to click the button that says Insert into Post. We click that, and there it is. We see the image is right there on the left-hand side, just how we like it, and it's looking good. So you can do the exact same things with video, audio, and other media just by using these buttons and tools up top there. Okay. One other option that I want to show you as far as images are concerned is the ability to add a gallery to any post or page. So to add an image gallery, it's quite simple. All you need to do is click on the Add Image button, just like we did previously. But this time when we hit Select Files, we're going to choose multiple files. So I'm going to come over here to some stock photos, and I'm going to choose just a bunch of images that are just some stock photography. Okay, I'm going to add a bunch here. And you can see all these are uploading to the site. Let these fully upload. Great. So now that they're all uploaded, what you want to do is come through and click Show on each one and add a title and alternate text to each individual one if you can. So go through to each one and do that. And once you've added all those, just click Save All Changes. And as soon as you hit Save All Changes, you'll see a brand new tab up along the top called Gallery. It tells you how many images are in that gallery. So once you've got your images all in here, you can rearrange them easily by simply dragging and dropping them and put all these images in the order that you'd like them to be in. So just kind of drag and drop and place them where you'd like to go. Or you see there is a manual option where you can kind of just change the numbers within there. All right. Then the gallery settings, you tell it where you want it to link to, an image file or an attachment page. I just say the image file. Order images by the menu order typically, but if you wanted to do it by title, date, or randomly, you could choose those other options as well. Ascending or descending, and then how many columns do you want the gallery to have? You can have up to 9 if you want to. So I'm going to choose 3, that's probably fine. And I'm going to go ahead and hit this Insert Gallery button. When you do that, you see we get a brand new square in our post that represents where the gallery will be once we launch and publish this post. And then if anytime you want to change this, just simply click on it, and you'll see there's ability to remove it and to edit it. And if we click edit, it just brings us back to that page again, and we can rearrange things and do what we need to do. So we could put, orange slices up top and then say, okay, I want to save those changes, and it'll kind of update that gallery. Okay, so kind of a nice option that you can add a great gallery to any page that you'd like to at all. So as far as just typing the content of your blog post, that is really about it. Okay, the next section is going to be over here. Every blog post should have just one category. When first starting, you might have something like this, uncategorized as the main category, but we can change that if we want to later. Or you can also add new categories also here. So let's say that we want to add a new category here, and perhaps we wanted to add a new category called fruit, say, okay? And then we just hit add new category, and that adds the new category. Or let's say that we want to do a subcategory, we want to do oranges, okay? Then we can click where it says parent category and say fruit is the parent category, and choose add new category. Then we can just leave it as oranges. So it's really good practice to only use one category, and for whatever reasons you need to do any subcategories, you can do that as well, as you can see. So just one category, then come down here where it says post tags. And for post tags, you want to add as many tags as you feel are relevant to the post. Anywhere from 3 to 10 is a good amount of tags per post that you can add. More if you feel like you needed to. So an example of some tags might be something like you want to add orange slices as a tag, and maybe you want to do fruit as a tag, or maybe you're doing some juice as a tag, or maybe just simply just orange also. So you just type all the post tags that you want separated by commas and click add. And basically the reason that we do tags is, one, for search engine reasons, but number 2, it's a way to connect multiple posts together. For example, this one is in the category, fruit, oranges. Let's say that you're blogging about that topic often, so you made a category called that. And we also maybe later on did a blog post called, that talked about orange juice. And so that kind of connects this post and that post together, and users can browse the tags and see all the related posts that have to do with that particular tag. So kind of a neat way to be able to connect those together. So far we put in the title, we typed our blog post, we added a category, we added a bunch of tags, and the other thing we want to always do is add a featured image. And a featured image is basically the image that represents the blog post a little bit. Users are more likely to view that blog post if there's an image that kind of brings them in, or kind of calls to them a little bit. So to set a featured image, just click this button, and you can either upload a new image, or you can browse your media library, one that you've already uploaded. And we'll say like this orange slices one, that would probably be a good one. I'm going to click show. And then you see there's a button down here called use as featured image. We don't want to do insert into post, as that would, insert into the post, but use as a featured image is exactly the one that we want. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And you see that immediately adds that, and we can simply close this window down. And there you see it attached. All right. So those are the main items that correspond to the blog post. There are a few other things that you might find, and where you'll find those is under these screen options up top here. You'll see there's a couple check boxes of some extra items that you can open up. For example, one called excerpt and discussions and author. You might not have those on by default, so you might want to check those on if you feel like those might be useful. Let me explain a few of those to you. Once those are checked on, you'll find below the editor here, you'll find 3 boxes here that we just added: excerpt, discussion, and author. So excerpt is basically an alternative method if it's been built in for you to, instead of doing this more tag, you just type in here what the excerpt would be rather than actually hitting that more tag. So it's an alternative to that. So you could just simply copy the first paragraph and paste it into the excerpt here instead of adding that more tag. So it's one or the other. You don't need to do both usually. So whichever one you find to be the easiest for you. The discussions is if you simply want to allow comments and allow trackbacks and pingbacks on the page. What are trackbacks and pingbacks? They're basically when another site or blog links to your page, it will notify you through the discussions area that another link has been linked to you. So if you want to allow those, then you can turn those on, and then you can allow some discussion on your site. So kind of a nice thing usually. And then if you have multiple admins or authors on your page, you can also select which author and admin you want to give credit to be the author of the post. All right. So that's really all there is to it so far. The last thing we need to do is just come up to this publish box. The publish box has a couple different options. Number one is you've got a save draft button. If we click save draft, then it will save this and we can come back to it and finish it later. So you never have to kind of finish the post all right that second. You can kind of work on it and then come back to it if you needed to. Then you see there's a button over here called preview, and at any time we can click this and it will allow us to view the website in a browser without it being published. So we can kind of see what it would look like. We kind of see there's our orange, there's our text, our link, our list, our titles, our quote, our alignments, and there's our gallery down there at the bottom. Okay, and then we said to add comments, so there they are right there, and then you can see the category and the tags that was put in, and then the author that was put in there as well. So really great. And then just close down that window when you're done, and you can kind of, now you've got an idea of what the blog post will look like before you publish it. All right, so those are those two buttons. Down below you're going to see the status, visibility, and then the publish timestamp. So first off, the status is where, if this was published, you can change this back to be draft. So it kind of just shows you the status of the particular post. Visibility is where you can actually have three different options. Number one, public, which is typically always what you'll want to do, with the option to stick this post at the front of the page. If you want to make sure this post is always at the top of the page, we call this being sticky sometimes, making it a sticky post, but if you want it to be at the top, then you can check that box. If you want to make this post password protected for any reason, you can do that. They wouldn't be able to view this post without actually putting in the password for it. And the last one is to make it private, and basically that would mean that only those who have a login to the site would be able to view this particular post. So it's private unless people have logged in. So for the most part, you want to keep it public. And then the next one is publish immediately is the default, but you can change the date to be in the future or in the past if you wanted to. So if you wanted to have this post publish, next week sometime, then you could simply type in here the new dates if you wanted to, and then you click OK, and then this would be scheduled to go live and be published on that day. So kind of a nice option. Also, if you feel like this should have been published a month ago, then you can also change it back dates too. So makes it very, very nice. So you can change the date and the time to it, and then just click OK, and you're rock and rolling. So when you're ready to go live and you've entered in everything, just hit the publish button, and that will actually make your post live. And then what you see is the save draft button goes away. You can see when it was published, and then there's the publish button turns to an update button. And also what you'll find is a new section down here called revisions shows up. So you can go back to any version that you did at any time. So if you make any adjustments, then you can always go back and revert if you ever needed to through the revisions section. All right, so that is everything about blogging right there. You can very easily add the titles and the post categories, tags, comments, and everything else. One new thing shows up once you published it is the change permalinks and view post button. Change permalinks is basically a way that you can change how the URL is viewed, or sometimes you can just change what the ending kind of looks like. So if you need to do that, you could. And the view post will of course do that, just let you see what the post looks like just by hitting that button. Then you can kind of scroll down and you can see it live, and it looks just like it did in our preview, except for this time it's live and people can see it because it's been published. All right, so that is how we create a blog post. Once all your posts are there, if you ever need to manage them, you can click on this button that says all posts. The all posts section lists all of the blog posts that you've had. As you continue blogging, this list will of course grow larger and larger. And so you've got a couple options that you can kind of filter these by. You see first off up here, you can sort it by the date, or you could sort it by the category. Then just hit the filter button and it'll show you just those posts. So making it a little easier if you're searching for a particular one. Or you can browse posts by a search post button up top here. You'll also see in the screen options that there is some options to show multiple posts. So if you have say over 100 blog posts that happened throughout the last couple of years, you can change how many you're viewing at a time. Then just click apply in the screen options. And then you'll also find some bulk options that you can do. You can edit multiple posts at the same time and move multiple to the trash at the same time if you wanted to as well. You'll then see kind of a listing here of all your posts, and down below it you'll see some links. You'll see edit, quick edit, trash, and view. Edit will take you onto the page that we were just looking at, but quick edit kind of takes us into kind of just show us a quick little look into a few things that we can change. For example, the slug, basically how the actual URL web link address, what it looks like. Also, we can change the date, the password to private if you chose to do that, the category, the tags, comments, and then the status if we want to change it back to draft if we wanted to, or if we want to make the post sticky. So then just hit the update button and it will update that post for you. So some nice quick edit options right there. We can equally trash this very quickly just by hitting that button. And if we do trash it, then you see it goes into a new section called trash. And that once it's in the trash, if we look in there, we can have the options to restore it or delete it permanently. So I'm going to go ahead and click restore and bring it back. And now it's back in the publish section here. Okay, so a lot of controls that you can use to be able to manage all the posts. You can view them a couple different ways. By default, it's this one on the left, the list view. But if you click the excerpt view, then it'll actually show you a little excerpt of the post too. So some people like to view it in that way as well. So either way. So that is how you kind of manage those. Now, let's talk about the categories and post tag sections here. If we go into the categories, this is where we can manage all the categories. For example, we want to change uncategorized perhaps to maybe news, and then we can change the slug as well, and then just hit update category. And basically the slug, if we haven't talked about it, is basically how it shows up in the URL. You'll notice that most all URLs or links are all lowercase, and so we want to make sure that the slug is the same thing, lowercase with no spaces. So you have the control to be able to choose how you want that slug to show up in URLs. So we want that to be news. But if you want to add a new category from here, you can just simply type it in. And then you don't need to put a slug. It will be created for you, but they kind of tell you here it's all lowercase and contains only letters, numbers, and hyphens and no spaces. So, but it will be created for you. And then you can choose a parent if you wanted to. Like I might put this inside of fruit and then hit add new category. The description is only optional. Most of the time you don't need to put it, but there are some particular sites that this has been developed, so you can put them in there if you wanted to, but that is how the categories are kind of put together. So the same way happens with the post tags. It's exactly the same way. You can add new tags from within here. You can remove them, quick edit them, remove them, do whatever you need to do. So it makes it very, very easy to be able to blog throughout here. So hopefully that all kind of makes sense for you and you become a blogging master, and you can click inside of any of these and modify them and add new ones and manage everything you need to. So good luck in all your blogging endeavors there, and thanks for watching.